Hello everyone. Well, in this tutorial we'll learn how to do Flutter form validation. To do this we'll use regex in Flutter. By the way, if you want to follow along with me, go ahead and download the code from the link below, GitHub link, and install it. And if you don't want to follow along with me, just follow the coding, it's fine. You can just follow from here. Either way it will be working. Okay, so the first thing we'll do, we'll create a sized box here. Well, before we create size box, actually, let me tell you. So this is what you'll have once you run the code. Okay, pretty much very simple. And within it, actually, I have a container, a body, within scaffold body, and then within body, I have this container wrapping around everything. And then within container, I have this form. And this is more like HTML or web form where you have a form tag. So this is pretty much the same thing, and in HTML you might have a form key like ID or form ID. So that's what we have here. Form key is more like ID. Well, it's a name. It could be any name that you can declare somewhere here. So there should be a global key for your form or form state. So it maintains the form state, or you can call it as a key. All right, so that's what you need to do if you want to have form validation. The first thing, of course, you have to have form and then the form key, and rest of the things are pretty straightforward. So right now what we'll do, first we'll create a sized box over here. So we'll do sized box, and then we'll do height. Okay, height say 0.05. okay, well, because we want to put things right a little bit below it. Okay, so there should be a distance. And then the next thing we'll call is called TextFormField, this one. Okay, so this is the one which will be taking text, which will take text from user input, and then we'll validate it. Okay, the first thing first, that we want to do a decoration, and this decoration for taking input, so we'll call it input decoration, or I mean this is the default class in Flutter, you need to call it. And now here you will have this label text. Okay, and you can call it, say, enter your name. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll save it and see that it's right there. Okay, save it and update it, it's right there. Okay, so that's our form field, and this decoration basically does a lot of other things, as you can see from here, but basically right now we'll just use label text. Okay, and within form field there is another property that's called validator. So that's what we'll call now, and it takes an anonymous function with a value. So we'll pass a random variable as value. Okay, I mean a random name as value, I would say. All right, and then we'll try to validate it, whatever we type in here. So the first, we'll check if it's null or not. So that's called value null, and if it's not null, then we'll check if it's empty or not. Okay, if it's empty or not, or the other condition. Now we'll use regex condition. Okay, so what is the regex condition? Now this one we have to write by ourselves. Okay, so over here we want to just type in name should have like, for example, all the characters A, B, C, D, upper letter, small letter, and maybe space. Okay, so that's what we want to do with name. So in regex and in Flutter, if you do regex for string, it should start with R and then single quote, and within single quote you will have this sign, and then we'll do A to Z and space A to Z. So this one. Okay, and then we'll call like has, I guess they call it has match. Okay, has match, and then value. Let's see, I think we need to import a view thing maybe. All right, let's see, rex, not rex, it's regex, I think. Now let's see. Okay, now it's working. Okay, if it has value, and then if it doesn't match the value, we'll do certain thing. Okay, now let me walk you through again what's happening here. First we check the value is it null or not. If it's null not, then we also at the same time check it is empty or not, and after that we put our text, whatever we type in here within this regex regex conditional statement, I would say. Okay, now here is in Flutter in general you will start with R, that means raw string, and then whatever the condition, it stays between the single quote, and now this means beginning of a string. Okay, of course, as we have beginning of a string, we have to end the string. So to end it, you need to use plus $sign. Okay, and now within this parenthesis, this brackets, whatever you put, they should match. So what we are trying to match, A to Z, that's small letter, and these are the capital letters. So if it doesn't match, that's why we have this negation over here, then we'll return. And returning, after returning, we'll say please enter correct name. Okay, that's what we would say. Else we'll return null. That means everything is correct as we expected. So that's the validation for name field over here. Okay, so hopefully it makes sense again. So whatever the value user types in, it's taken into here. Then we do a few checks whether it's empty or not. If it's empty, definitely we need to write our name again, or if you have numbers or special characters, then it will give you this warning that please write again. Okay, all right, so that was for the name field. Now what we do, we don't want to write this thing again and again. What we do, would copy them. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy it. It would make our life easy and save a lot of time. Okay, now the same for another field. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it. And we see something beautiful over here, but of course we need to change the label, this label meaning, I mean this label text. So the second one, say enter your phone number. Okay, or enter your number. All right, and please enter correct phone number. Okay, and the second one is enter your email. Okay, please enter correct email. So this one. Okay, now let's save it, and they change, right? But now of course the regex is this expression is correct only for the first one, that's for name. Now this is for phone number. Okay, so we need to write the regex for phone number. So what do we do? We need to change all of it. So what we'll do, we'll just delete this section over here. Now we'll start again. So now phone number could have many different variation based on country, but a lot of phone numbers, they have a plus sign at the beginning. Okay, at least when we see it in a form or in a name card, there's a plus sign. Okay, so that's why we have this plus sign, and then we have this star. That star means whatever happens, whatever comes after it, take it. Okay, so now in a lot of time you will have this first bracket within phone number, at least like say 3 digits. So they're wrapped around the bracket, especially those are US numbers, I would say. All right, yeah. And then what we would do, we would take 0 to 1, any number of them. It could be 0, it could be 1. All right, so but now here it's saying that, sorry, this 0 1 is more like this bracket. It may appear 0 times or 1 time. That's what it means. It could be 0 times or 1 time, not more than that. So either there is a bracket or no bracket. If there is only 1. Okay, all right. And after that, we are looking for some digits. So what are the digits? From 0 to 9, and those numbers, they appear, say for example, 1 to 4 times. So these digits, they may appear like, for example, from any digit from 0 to 9, and these numbers could be only 1 number or up to 4 numbers, like that. Okay, and then I will continue with this. Next is, now you want to finish this bracket over here. So what you do, we just write this again, this bracket this time, the opposite one, and once again it could appear 0 times or 1 times. Okay, and after that we will go ahead with the rest of the numbers. So how to do that? So there might be a dash in your number. A lot of phone numbers has a dash, so that's why we have this dash, and after that you might have any character. Okay, as for any non-white space character, like say 1 2 3 4, even I think it could also stand for other characters, but no white space. Okay, that's what it means. And then we might also have a dot. Okay, and then other 0 to 9. So that's the basic phone number format that I'm using over here, but you could use like if you're in China or in India, the phone number format could be very different. So for your particular case, you need to have that kind of format, regex expression based on your phone number or your country's phone number. Okay, so this is very different for pretty much every country, I would say. It could be different. All right, now we would go for this email address. Now once again we'll delete all of it. We don't need any of delete all of it. Okay, and then what we do now over here for email address, we'll have, say, any letter. Okay, W means this means / W means any kind of letters or numbers, alphanumeric numbers. Okay, but that doesn't include any space. And then we'll have, like in your email address, you might have a dash or underscore. So this stands for both dash and underscore. And then in your email address at the beginning, you might have a dot. So that's why we have this one. Okay, and then plus this @ sign. So every email has @ sign. And then we'll have once again this like character W. It means any kind of number or digit or letters. Okay, and then once again you might have this dash after @ sign. Like for example, your email address could be abcd@a.com, like that. Okay, or you might have a_a.com. So it matches any of them. So after A, it could be any letters or numbers that it should match, or underscore or dash, like that. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll wrap it, we'll finish it here, and then so I would go ahead and finish this expressions. Okay, so eventually it's done. So the way it works, that first you start with any kind of letter with numbers, and then you might have dash, and then you might have dot. So that's a general combination. And then you might have this, of course, definitely you'll have @ and after that any number, any letters, and dash underscore combination. There should be a period. But now after this period, you should have like .com, .net, .biz, like that. Okay, so I think we can skip this one. I'm not sure why some people they use this dash, because in general there is no underscore com or underscore like this. Okay, but some of the expressions they did use it, so I'm not sure why. But anyway, so any expressions, so any letters, and or it could be any numbers as well, because this W stands for actually numbers as well. But in general, you will not have any numbers. But anyway, whatever shows up, then it could repeat up to 2 to 4 times, because some of them, like say for example .io or .store or many different combination at the end. So that's why 2 to 4. In your case, it could be 2 to 5. It's up to you that how you go ahead and do it. Okay, all right, so we are done with this combination, but now we need to find a way to submit this form. That's pretty easy though, but before we do that, we need to create a submit button. So let's go ahead and do it. Here we are, we have created this submit button, and let's run it. See the result. Yeah, so this is the button that I have created, but now I want to put a bit distance around it, because right now they're too close, this to text field and the row, which means the button. Okay, now let's go ahead and see the button. The button is pretty simple because I used 2 elements next to each other, so that's why I have used row. Within row I have this word sign up, and then this new morphic design button, but you can skip that. You can just have any kind of button or elevated button. And then you have this on pressed event, and within on pressed event something interesting happens, like the form submission happens. Now if the validation is done, then you can go ahead and do or show other things or submit to server, like that. Okay, so here once you click on the button, if the condition is true, then it shows you message. Otherwise it will show here these errors, like as we saw. All right, so now we can go ahead and do the test. For example, say write your name say AA8AA. Well, definitely that's not a name. Now say phone number and say your email address a8a.com. Now let's hit enter. Now as you see, because the name is not correct. Okay, so what we could do, we can fix it. Say Ahmed, and now over here say we can have like ZZZ. Let's see what error we get. Now phone number is incorrect, so that means that it's working, right? Now for example here, if you have this hyphen, so this question mark, so it won't work, right? So now it means our validation is working. So now once the validation is done, it falls back over here. For now, we'll send a message to our user that form is submitting. Otherwise, in general, you'd submit it to the server, and in next tutorial we'll see how to submit it to the server. But now let's go ahead and click enter button. Now it will say that submitting the form. Okay, so the most important thing about this text form field, that you'll have a text form field widget, and then your text label, and then you'll have a validator, and inside the validator you'll have your regex expression or regular expression, like that. Okay, so if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends. Thanks so much.